You can't keep getting away with it!
At this point in the video, it's what I would usually say, so... And then I would tell you a really bad joke that is somehow related to the topic of the video, and maybe, possibly, reference the title. But this is not the case. Someone legit asked me, "Yo, can I give you 20 bucks if you do a build for this weapon?" And I was like, "No, you don't need to give me any money. I have never tried this weapon. It looks interesting. I'm just gonna try it." And they told me, "Yo, but it's so bad. I want it to work so bad because I have like a really good Riven." I have tried it. And I'm a little bit flabbergasted, not gonna lie, because I kinda like this weapon. And I don't think it's bad. I don't know if you're doing something incorrectly or something. Maybe you're overcomplicating the approach. The weapon just works. Spectre bundle, really fun. I kinda like it. It's a beam weapon that doesn't spread to the rest of the enemies, so it rewards your precision with it. And it kinda looks like the plasma cutter from Dead Space, so that's absolutely fucking perfect for my next video. Whenever I drop the Protea video, I can use her with this. I kinda like this weapon, and this is just the de facto default I want to make this secondary weapon work.png. Get base damage out of Cascadia Flare, and we are gonna make sure we are gonna get some hit ticks with prime heated charge, which is also always one of the best single elements in the entire game. Of course, you use viral, because this also has really high slash, and you get critical chance, critical damage. You can also use, of course, Creeping Bullseye here, but like it's not like you're gonna get to the next tier of period with this weapon, so it doesn't even matter. Lethal Torrent, obviously. Galvanized Diffusion, obviously. And Galvanized Shot, because this is a Styrus weapon. And Ruinous Extension, because the range on the base beam is really low. It also is notable that this weapon has some innate punch through. It is not enough to punch through heavy enemies, but smaller ones you're gonna be hitting 2 at the same time. And if you wish to, you're gonna lose some damage, but you can absolutely do this. And you should change this arcane probably more than likely for Merciless. And that would be also a very valid build. And I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is my normal Banshee. She doesn't have a corrosive projection. I'm not using any type of external buffs. I castrated my Sentinel for this test. This is just this build's performance, and it kills the enemies. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it just works. Like, who could have guessed? Like, the base stats on it are not that bad. It reloads fairly quickly. It rewards precision because if you can track the heads of the enemies, and even heavy enemies die like almost instantly. So, I don't know if you were expecting for this weapon to just clear a whole row of enemies like in an instant, but I mean, this is completely valid. In fact, also, as we spoke about, if you do this, like, this is gonna work still. Like, don't get me wrong. Let's use Merciless. Look at this. Like, again, like this is gonna absolutely work. No questions asked. Let's get some kills, right? And then you can kill several enemies in a row, and they bleed out because this does like a lot of slash procs, like a lot of them. You're taking a little longer to kill each enemy, but you're hitting more at the same time, so that's a valid thing that you can do. But of course, I'm not gonna leave you just like that. I'm just not gonna drop this on your lap and be like, yeah, just use the same build that you would use in every single other weapon. So let's take a look at what this weapon could excel at. Right? So, to take a look at this again, like this very normal, stereotypical build, right? Just take a look at this weapon. You're not getting to the next tier of crits. So this feels like a waste. This is certainly work. Like this works. It's 50%. Even this is 60%. Of course it works. 60% crit. 60% chance to make your crits better. But it kind of feels a little bit wrong in today's Warframe because how much power creep we have, doesn't it? Well, we might be able to fix that in some other way. Critical multiplier, not that good, but it's not terrible either. So we might keep this, more than likely. Especially when you keep in mind the fact that, this has more slash than puncture. It has more slash than puncture. So what if we focus on the slash? And we try to make these slash procs as meaty as possible. We can make them as meaty as possible by aim. So slash procs more. It's not gonna increase the damage of the slash, but it's gonna make sure it procs even more. We drop the hit, we focus on the viral and the slash. And we get the crits from somewhere else. Like the Enerbite. With this build, you're bleeding enemies to death in ways you cannot even imagine. Of course, because how this build works, you need some base damage. You absolutely need some base damage, because you're not gaining out of here. The results are also very good. So if you wanna just turbo overcharge enemies with slash procs, like this, just gonna do the trick. Look at that. And it has no ramp up. It has no ramp up whatsoever. You just go and you just bleed enemies to death. And as you're about to see, even like very heavy enemies, look at this. Look at the amount of slash proc. And we are getting big crits, like really big crits, thanks to Enerbite. Because it's a beam weapon, which means it's ticking all the time, so it's charging Enerbite all the time. Because beam weapons are the most consistent users of secondary. It is also very good. And knowing that we can proc that much slash, you might want to use this weapon, something that can double dip on those last proc. And it happens that my Trinity Prime has Roar, because I generally don't use her one, because you heal with her ultimate already. So if you're in the support role, you can also provide damage to your teammates. So this is the level of performance you can expect with Roar, which is this gets a little silly. Yeah, you absolutely bleed everything like instantly. This looks really fine, doesn't it? Like this is looking mighty fine, I would say. And if you want to get extra silly, extra ridiculous, let's go to the Master of Bullshit. And my Dante build has 2 stacks of corrosive extra state, which means you can fully armor strip enemies if you're using corrosive. Also, even though we are using Roar over his one, you still retain the use of Noctua whenever you cast one of her types of ultimate, his types of ultimate ability. And Noctua becomes essentially a turbocharged primer, and you can get viral hit on that primer, and you can get this build on the weapon. You basically just exact same build, but you are going for corrosive, and now we are shooting big slashes with big crits, with a fully armor stripped enemy that is also viral ticked and hit ticked, and we're also double dipping on all of those statuses with the damage increase of Roar. And as always, like, imagine if you use a weapon together with something that can make that weapon better, then as long as you know what to put together, shit's gonna get absolutely dumpstered. And this is the result. So yeah, I guess this weapon is not popular at all because I have never seen it before used by anyone. But I kinda like it. So Rivens are probably really fucking... I'll go look for one too, for myself. Regarding modding with Rivens, there's two schools of thought. You should use Rivens to make sure the weapon can do something it wasn't able to do before, or you can use it to make it perform better in the same role as you were using it. For instance, I got a Riven that has the stats from Lethal Torrent but better. I would swap Lethal Torrent for that. But maybe you can give it even more function. For instance, if I have a Riven that gives me 200% base damage plus something else, and that something else is, for example, cold, you have just gained a mod slot. You could drop this, get this here, and you would still have the vital, but then you would be able to add heat 2 here, which, of course, it make it extremely powerful. But for this weapon, if I was about to recommend a Riven, I think the ideal thing that you can go for is either base damage plus punch through, or slash plus punch through. Of course, it's always down to RNG, but that could do the trick. And yeah, that's my small review of the Spectro bundle, and I hope this very short and small lesson on weapon modding helped you somewhere and at some point. I don't know, I don't know what to tell you. This weapon, not meta by any stretch of the imagination, but this is certainly not bad, and I quite like it. Yeah. On the next one, which is gonna be a video about Jordi. Bye-bye.